The silence of space pressed against the windows of Research Station Delta 7. Dr. Hana Kim sat alone in the observation deck, watching the stars. She had been stationed on this remote asteroid for 4 months now, with 2 more months to go. The loneliness sometimes felt heavy, but Hana didn't mind it much. She preferred the quiet company of her research to the busy noise of Earth. Hana was 32 years old, with short black hair that she kept tied back while working. Her colleagues back on Earth called her obsessive. They said she spent too much time chasing theories that made no sense. But Hana knew what she had found in the old alien ruins nearby. Something was there. Something important. The ruins had been discovered 20 years ago when humans first came to this asteroid belt. They were ancient, built by a species that died out long before humans even learned to make fire. Most scientists studied the ruins for a few months and then left, saying there was nothing useful to find. But Hana had detected something different 3 weeks ago. Energy readings. Faint pulses coming from deep inside a sealed chamber. She finished her morning coffee and checked her suit one more time. Today she would open that chamber. The station's AI had tried to talk her out of it yesterday. "Dr. Kim, the chamber may contain hazardous materials," the AI had said in its calm voice. "Everything's hazardous out here," Hana had replied. "That's why I wear the suit." Now she walked through the station's airlock and out onto the asteroid's surface. The gravity was weak, making each step feel like floating. She had walked this path to the ruins so many times that her boots had worn a trail in the gray dust. The ruins looked like twisted metal bones reaching up from the asteroid's surface. They were beautiful in a strange way. Hana sometimes wondered what the aliens who built them looked like. Did they have families? Did they look at stars and wonder if they were alone? She climbed down into the main structure, her helmet light cutting through the darkness. The sealed chamber was at the lowest level. She had spent the last week carefully setting up equipment to open it, without causing damage. Her hands shook a little as she activated the cutting laser. She told herself it was just excitement, not fear. The seal broke with a hiss of escaping gas. Hana's suit sensors went crazy for a moment, detecting elements that shouldn't exist together. Then everything settled. She pushed the heavy door open and stepped inside. The chamber was small, barely larger than her bedroom back on the station. In the center sat a single object on a pedestal made of the same strange metal as the ruins. It was an egg. Or at least it looked like an egg. It was about the size of a basketball, made of some kind of crystal that glowed with soft blue and purple light. Patterns moved across its surface like waves on water. Hana stepped closer, her scientific training warring with a feeling she couldn't name. The egg was beautiful. It pulsed with a rhythm that reminded her of a heartbeat. She reached out slowly and touched it with her gloved hand. The egg was warm. That shouldn't be possible. The ruins had been dead and cold for thousands of years. But this egg was warm and its light grew brighter at her touch. Hana made a decision that she knew broke every rule in the research handbook. She was going to take it back to the station. Getting the egg back was harder than she expected. It was heavy, and the weak gravity made it difficult to carry without bouncing too much. By the time she got it into the station's lab, she was breathing hard and her arms ached. "Dr. Kim, you have introduced an unknown object to the station," the AI said. "This violates Safety Protocol 7. "Note my violation in the log," Hana said, not taking her eyes off the egg. "And keep it to yourself for now." She spent the rest of the day running every test she could think of. The egg's composition was unlike anything in the known database. The energy it gave off seemed to be some kind of biological signature, but it didn't match any form of life humans had ever discovered. As evening came, Hana finally admitted she was too tired to continue. She left the egg in the lab, sealed behind 3 layers of containment doors, and went to her quarters to sleep. She dreamed of flying, not in a ship but with wings. She dreamed of fire and stars and a voice that spoke without words. When she woke up, it was still dark. The station's night cycle wasn't over yet, but something had woken her. Hana heard a sound, a small chirping noise like a bird, but there were no birds on the station. Her heart racing, she pulled on her clothes and ran to the lab. The containment doors were open. All 3 of them. The egg sat on the examination table where she had left it, but now it had a crack running down the middle. As Hana watched frozen in place, the crack spread. Pieces of crystal shell fell away. Something moved inside. A small head poked out, covered in purple scales that shimmered in the lab lights. It had large golden eyes and small horns on its head. It looked at Hana and made that chirping sound again. Then it struggled out of the egg completely. It was a dragon. A tiny dragon no bigger than a cat, with wings that were still folded against its body. Its scales were the same purple color as the egg had been, with hints of blue that seemed to shift as it moved. It had 4 legs, each ending in small claws, and a long tail that swished back and forth. The dragon looked right at Hana. In that moment, something happened that she couldn't explain. She felt something in her mind like a door opening. Emotions flooded through that weren't her own. Hunger, curiosity, and something that felt like recognition and joy. The dragon chirped again and jumped off the table. It was clumsy, tumbling more than landing. Then it ran toward Hana on unsteady legs and pressed against her, making a sound like purring. Hana slowly knelt down. The dragon was warm, just like the egg had been. It looked up at her with those golden eyes, and she knew with absolute certainty that it thought she was its mother. "What are you?" she whispered. The dragon just purred louder and curled up in her lap. Its scales were smooth under her hand, almost like glass, but warmer and somehow alive in a way she could feel. Behind her, the station AI spoke. "Dr. Kim, I am detecting an unauthorized life form. Station security protocols require immediate—" "No," Hana said firmly. "You're not detecting anything. Sensor malfunction. Note it in the log." There was a pause. "Dr. Kim, I cannot falsify records." Hana looked down at the tiny dragon now falling asleep in her arms. She thought about what would happen if she reported this. They would take the dragon away. They would study it, experiment on it, maybe hurt it. The protective feeling that rose in her chest was so strong it surprised her. "Then don't detect it," she said. "That's an order." The AI was silent. Hana stood up carefully, holding the dragon close. It made a small, sleepy sound and tucked its head against her shoulder. She carried it to her quarters, her mind already racing with questions. What was this creature? Where did it come from? And why did holding it feel like the most natural thing in the world? She named it Bora, after the purple color of its scales. As she lay down with the dragon curled up on her chest, she wondered what she had gotten herself into. But looking at Bora's peaceful, sleeping face, she knew she would protect this creature no matter what came next. Outside the station, the stars continued their ancient dance, unaware that something impossible had just been born. Hana woke up to find Bora staring at her face from 2 inches away. The little dragon's golden eyes were bright and curious. When Bora saw that Hana was awake, she chirped happily and licked Hana's nose with a warm tongue. "Good morning to you too," Hana said, laughing despite herself. That's when she noticed something strange. Bora was bigger, not by much, but definitely bigger than last night. The dragon had been the size of a cat when she hatched. Now she was closer to the size of a small dog. That kind of growth overnight was impossible for any known species. Hana sat up quickly, her scientific mind already working. Bora tumbled off the bed with a small yelp and then immediately jumped back up, tail wagging like an excited puppy. The dragon was hungry. Hana knew this without Bora making a sound. She just knew it, the same way she had known Bora's emotions last night. The connection between them was getting stronger. "Okay, let's figure out what you eat," Hana said. The station had food supplies for humans, but Hana had no idea what a dragon would eat. She tried offering Bora some protein bars. The dragon sniffed them, made a disgusted sound, and pushed them away with her nose. She tried dried fruit. Same reaction. Then she tried the emergency rations, the ones that were supposed to taste like beef. Bora ate all of it in seconds and looked at Hana for more. Over the next few days, Hana learned that Bora would eat almost anything with high protein content. The dragon seemed to need huge amounts of food. Hana watched her emergency supplies disappear and tried not to worry about it. She couldn't exactly order dragon food from Earth without questions, but the food was the least strange thing happening. Bora was growing faster every day. By the 3rd day after hatching, the dragon was the size of a large dog. Her wings had developed, and she practiced flapping them constantly, creating small windstorms in Hana's quarters. Hana tried to keep her scientific observations professional. She recorded everything in private logs that she kept hidden from the station's main computer: temperature readings, growth rates, behavioral patterns, but the numbers didn't make sense. Bora's biology seemed to break every rule Hana knew. On the 4th day, something even stranger happened. Hana was in her lab, trying to work on her regular research so the AI wouldn't suspect anything. Bora was sleeping on a blanket in the corner. Or at least Hana thought she was sleeping. Then Hana looked over and saw Bora walking through the wall. Not breaking through the wall. Walking through it like the wall wasn't even there. Half of the dragon's body was on one side of the solid metal wall, and half was on the other side. When Bora realized what she was doing, she panicked and jumped forward, pulling herself fully through to the other side. Hana stood there with her mouth open. That was impossible. Matter couldn't pass through matter like that. She ran into the hallway and found Bora sitting there looking confused and a little scared. "How did you do that?" Hana asked. Bora just tilted her head, clearly not understanding the question. That night, Hana couldn't sleep. She lay in bed with Bora curled up next to her, now too big to fit on Hana's chest anymore. The dragon's breathing was deep and steady. As Hana watched her, she felt that mental connection open wider. Suddenly, she wasn't in her bed anymore. She was flying high above a planet she didn't recognize. The sky was full of ships, thousands of them, firing weapons at each other. And there were others like her. Dragons, hundreds of them, breathing fire and plasma at the ships. She felt rage and grief and a terrible sense of duty. Then she was standing in a great hall made of crystal. Beings that looked like light spoke to her in voices that made her bones vibrate. They were giving her a mission, a purpose. She had to judge. She had to watch and wait and decide. Hana woke up gasping. Bora was awake too, her golden eyes worried. The dragon made a soft sound and pressed her head against Hana's hand. "Those are your memories," Hana whispered. "You're showing me your memories, but how could that be?" Bora was only a few days old. These memories were ancient. Hana could feel their age. Thousands and thousands of years old. They came from before humans existed. The next morning, Hana decided she needed to run a different kind of test. She set up equipment in the lab and brought Bora in. The dragon was now big enough that she barely fit through the door. At this rate, in another week, she would be larger than Hana. "I need you to breathe fire," Hana said. "Can you do that?" "Like in my dreams?" Bora cocked her head and made a questioning chirp. Then she opened her mouth. Instead of fire, what came out was a stream of something that glowed white-hot. It wasn't burning. It was plasma, matter so hot it became a fourth state beyond solid, liquid, and gas. The plasma hit Hana's testing equipment and the whole thing simply disappeared, turned into atoms. Hana jumped back. Okay, that's enough." Bora closed her mouth and looked proud of herself. Her tail swished happily. "Do you have any idea what you are?" Hana asked quietly. Through their connection, she felt Bora's response. Not words, but feelings and images. The dragon knew she was something important. Something old. Something that had slept for a very long time and woken up because she sensed something. Sensed someone. She had sensed Hana. The station AI interrupted Hana's thoughts. "Dr. Kim, I am detecting unusual energy readings in the lab. Also, several pieces of equipment are missing from inventory." "Equipment malfunction," Hana said quickly. "The readings are false. The equipment was damaged." "Dr. Kim, these false readings have been occurring with increasing frequency. Station regulations require that you note it in the log," Hana interrupted. "Which you've done." "Thank you." The AI went silent, but Hana knew she was running out of time. Soon the AI would override her commands and alert Earth. She needed to figure out what Bora was before that happened. That night, the dreams came again. This time Hana saw more clearly. She saw the beings of light, the ones who spoke in vibrating voices. They were building something, creating something. She saw eggs like the one Bora had come from, thousands of them being placed all across the galaxy. The light beings spoke to their creations. They called them judges, guardians, weapons as a last resort. They gave them rules and purpose and sent them out to watch over the younger species that would come after. Then came war. The light beings fought each other, and their dragon creations were caught in the middle. The dragons had to choose sides, many died. The war ended with the light beings destroying themselves. The dragons that survived went to sleep, hiding their eggs in secret places, waiting for something, waiting for a species worthy of finding them. Hana woke up with tears on her face. She understood now. Bora wasn't just an animal. She was something much more, something that had been waiting for 50,000 years to wake up. She looked at Bora, who was awake and watching her with those wise golden eyes. "You were waiting for us," Hana said. "For humans. Weren't you?" Bora made a sound that was almost like agreement. The next day, everything changed. The station AI alerted Hana that a ship was approaching. It wasn't the regular supply ship. That wasn't due for 2 more weeks. This was a military vessel, and it was arriving in 3 hours. Hana's hands shook as she read the message. Commander Dae-yoon was coming to investigate the unusual energy readings that had been reported from the station. He had full authority to inspect everything. She looked at Bora, who was now as large as a small horse and definitely could not be hidden. "We're in trouble," Hana said. Bora just tilted her head and moved closer, pressing her warm-scaled body against Hana's side. Through their connection, Hana felt the dragon's absolute trust. Bora wasn't worried. Whatever came, they would face it together. Hana wished she could feel that confident. She had 3 hours to figure out how to explain the impossible creature in her station, 3 hours to prepare for questions she couldn't answer, 3 hours before her quiet research life came crashing down around her. She spent those hours trying to make the lab look less like she had been hiding something. She organized her private logs. She practiced what she would say. But mostly, she just sat with Bora, feeling the dragon's heartbeat through their connection, wondering what would happen when the commander arrived and saw what she had found in the ancient ruins. The dragon who could walk through walls and breathe plasma. The dragon who carried memories from before human history began. The dragon who had chosen Hana as her person, for reasons Hana still didn't fully understand. When the military ship docked with the station, Hana stood up straight and took a deep breath. Bora stood beside her, calm and ready. "Here we go," Hana whispered. Whatever happened next, she would not let them take Bora away. That was the one thing she knew for certain. The airlock hissed as it opened. Hana stood in the docking bay with her heart pounding. She had left Bora in her quarters with strict instructions to stay quiet. The dragon had seemed to understand, though Hana could still feel Bora's presence in the back of her mind, curious and watchful. Commander Dae-yoon stepped through the airlock. He was tall, maybe 40 years old, with sharp eyes that seemed to notice everything. He wore a military uniform with marks that showed he had seen combat. 2 other soldiers followed him, but Dae waved them back. "Dr. Kim," he said, his voice formal but not unfriendly. "I'm Commander Yoon. We need to talk about the energy readings from your station." "They're just equipment malfunctions," Hana said quickly. "Old sensors giving false data. Nothing to worry about." Dae looked at her for a long moment. "Dr. Kim, I've been monitoring these readings for 3 weeks. They're not random. They follow patterns, biological patterns, and they're getting stronger every day." Hana felt cold. He had been watching for 3 weeks. Since before Bora hatched, he knew something was here. "I think you should show me what you found in the ruins," Dae said. It wasn't a request. Before Hana could answer, alarms started blaring throughout the station. The lights turned red. The station AI's voice came over the speakers, higher pitched than usual, almost panicked. "Emergency! Hull breach in Section 7. Atmosphere venting! All personnel to emergency stations." Dae's soldiers ran toward Section 7. Hana started to follow, but Dae grabbed her arm. "That's near your quarters," he said, looking right into her eyes. "What's in your quarters, Dr. Kim?" Hana pulled away from him and ran. She knew what had happened. Bora had tried to come find her and accidentally phased through the hull instead of just a wall. The dragon didn't understand yet that space was vacuum and deadly. She reached her quarters to find the door buckled outward. Through the opening, she could see stars. The emergency shields hadn't activated because the breach was too large. And floating in space, looking confused and scared, was Bora. The dragon was alive. She was in hard vacuum with no air, and she was alive. Her scales seemed to shimmer, surrounded by a faint glow. But through their connection, Hana could feel Bora's fear and confusion. The dragon was trying to get back, but didn't know how. Hana grabbed an emergency suit from the wall and started putting it on. Dae appeared beside her. "What is that thing?" he asked, staring at Bora. "Something I need to save," Hana said, sealing her helmet. "You can't go out there. The safety line isn't long enough." Hana ignored him and stepped through the breach. The station's weak gravity let go and she floated free. Space was silent and huge around her. She activated the magnetic boots to stop her drift and reached out toward Bora. "Come here, girl. Come to me." Bora saw her and tried to move, but the dragon didn't know how to move in zero gravity. She flailed, spinning slowly. Hana pushed off the station hull, letting the safety line play out behind her. She caught Bora's foreleg. The moment they touched, something amazing happened. Bora's glow grew brighter and seemed to surround them both. Suddenly, Hana could breathe. The vacuum didn't hurt anymore. She pulled off her helmet in shock. "How is this possible?" she whispered. Through their connection, she felt the answer. Bora wasn't just in normal space. She existed partially in another state of being, a place where physical rules were different. And now that Hana was touching her, Hana was partially there too. They floated together in the void, surrounded by stars. For a moment, everything was peaceful. Then Hana remembered where they were and that people were watching. She pulled Bora back toward the station using the safety line. Day was waiting in the airlock with his weapon drawn. But he wasn't pointing it at them. He was just staring, his face showing complete shock. "That's a dragon," he said quietly. "A real dragon. I thought they were all dead." Hana stopped moving. "You know what she is?" Day lowered his weapon slowly. He looked at Hana, then at Bora, then back at Hana. Something in his expression changed. He looked tired suddenly and sad. "We need to talk," he said. "All of us. Somewhere secure." They gathered in the station's conference room. Day had sent his soldiers back to their ship with orders to say nothing. Now it was just Hana, Day, and Bora who lay on the floor with her head in Hana's lap. 50,000 years ago, Day began, there was a war, not just on one planet but across the whole galaxy. Two groups of very advanced aliens fought each other. We call them the Precursors. We don't know much about them, but we know they created weapons. Living weapons, dragons. Hana stroked Bora's head, feeling the dragon's attention focus on Day's words. The dragons were supposed to be the ultimate weapon. Day continued. They could survive anywhere, even in space. They could breathe plasma hot enough to melt starships. They could phase through matter. And they were intelligent, smart enough to follow complex orders. But something went wrong. They turned on their creators, Hana said quietly. Day nodded. The precursors destroyed themselves and the dragons disappeared. Most people thought they were extinct. Some thought they were just stories, myths. But military intelligence has been finding evidence. Old records. Ancient warnings left on dead worlds. We've been searching for dragon eggs for 20 years. Why? Hana asked, though she thought she knew the answer. Because whoever controls a dragon controls the most powerful weapon in the galaxy. Day looked at Bora. That creature is worth more than 100 warships. Countries would go to war for her. Alien species would destroy Earth to keep us from having her. Hana's arms tightened around Bora. She's not a weapon. She's alive. She thinks and feels. I know, Day said, surprising her. I can see that. The way she looks at you, the way she protects you, that's not a weapon. That's something else. What do you mean? Day stood up and walked to the window, looking out at space. The old records say that dragons didn't just turn on the precursors. They judged them. The precursors had built them to be destroyers. But the dragons decided their creators weren't worthy of such power, so they removed it. They killed them, Hana said. They stopped them from hurting anyone else. Day turned back to face her. The records say that dragons were waiting. That one day they would wake up for a species that was different, a species that could be trusted. Hana felt Bora's presence in her mind, warm and certain. The dragon had been waiting in that egg for thousands of years, sleeping but somehow aware, waiting for the right species to find her, waiting for humans. Why humans? Hana asked. What makes us special? We fight wars. We destroy things. We're not perfect. No species is perfect, Day said. But humans have something rare. We bond with other species. We take in alien creatures as pets, as friends. We care about beings that aren't like us. Most species in the galaxy don't do that. They see everything as threat or resource. But humans, he looked at Bora. Humans can love something completely different from themselves. Through the connection, Hana felt Bora's agreement. This was why the dragon had chosen her. Not because Hana was a scientist or special in any way, but because when Hana saw a strange creature hatch from an egg, her first thought was to protect it, to care for it, to love it. What happens now? Hana asked quietly. Day sat down again. He looked tired. I'm supposed to report this. Call in the military. Put that dragon in a secure facility for study. That's my job, but I lost my daughter 5 years ago, Dai said, his voice rough. Alien raiders attacked the colony where we lived. They saw humans as resources, as things to use. When I found her, she was holding her pet cat. She had died protecting it. An alien creature she loved more than her own life. He looked at Hana with red eyes. I see the same thing here. You would die for that dragon, wouldn't you? Yes, Hana said without hesitation. That's what makes humans special, Day said. That's what the dragons were waiting for. Not perfect beings, just beings capable of loving perfectly. They sat in silence for a moment, then alarms started again. Different alarms this time. The station AI spoke urgently. Warning. Multiple ships approaching. Unknown design. They are hailing the station. Message reads, surrender the dragon or be destroyed. Hana and Dai ran to the control room. The monitor showed 5 alien ships surrounding the station. They looked like nothing Hana had seen before, all sharp angles and dark metal. A face appeared on the screen. It was alien, with too many eyes and skin that looked like stone. When it spoke, a translator turned its words into human language. Humans of this station, we are the Vrel Collective. We detected the dragon's awakening. You will give the dragon to us or we will take it by force. You have 1 hour to decide. The screen went dark. Day looked at Hana. They must have sensors across the galaxy watching for dragon energy signatures. If they found us this fast, others will come too. We can't give them Bora, Hana said. I know, but we can't fight them either. This station has no weapons. Bora stood up and moved to the window. She looked at the alien ships and made a low sound in her chest. Through their connection, Hana felt the dragon's anger and determination. Bora wasn't afraid of the ships. She was ready to protect Hana. No, Hana said firmly. We're not fighting. There has to be another way. Day pulled out a communication device. I'm calling for backup. Military ships can be here in 6 hours. We don't have 6 hours. We have 1. The hour passed too quickly. Hana spent it trying to calm Bora down while Day talked to the alien ships and his military command. The dragon paced around the control room, her tail swishing with agitation. Every few minutes she would press against Hana, seeking comfort through their bond. Military ships will be here in 5 hours, Day said, ending his call. But the aliens won't wait that long. What do they want with Bora? Hana asked. Before Day could answer, the screen lit up again. The stone-faced alien appeared, but this time it wasn't alone. Behind it stood several other aliens from different species. One looked like it was made of water held in a loose shape. Another had wings and too many arms. A third was so tall it had to bend to fit in the frame. Humans, the stone-faced one said. I am Ambassador Thelvon of the Vrel Collective. We represent the Coordinate Assembly, a union of 73 species. We all agree on one thing. The dragon must not remain with humanity. Why not? Hana asked, stepping forward before Day could stop her. The aliens looked at each other. The water being spoke next, its voice like rain falling. Because dragons are judges. They were created by the precursors to evaluate species and determine their worth. If a species is found wanting, the dragons destroy them. That's why the precursors died, the tall alien added. The dragons judged them and found them unworthy. For 50,000 years we have lived in peace without dragons. We will not allow them to wake up and judge us now. So you want to kill Bora? Hana felt anger rise in her chest. We want to contain it, Thelvon said. Place it in stasis where it cannot wake fully. For the good of all species. She's already awake, Hana said. She's alive and aware. What you're talking about is murder. The aliens looked confused. The water being spoke again. It has bonded with you. This is unexpected. Dragons only bonded with precursors. How did you survive the bonding process? Survive it? Hana touched Bora's head. It wasn't dangerous. She chose me. I chose her. The aliens began talking among themselves in languages the translator couldn't handle. Hana could see they were shocked by something. Finally, Thelvon turned back to the screen. This is impossible. Dragons do not choose prey species. They dominate. They control. The precursors engineered them to bond only with their creators and to kill anything else that approached them. Well, maybe they were wrong about that, Hana said. Or maybe dragons change. Bora has never tried to hurt me. She protects me. It protects its food source, the tall alien said. This is a trick. Dragons are incapable of genuine attachment. Day stepped forward. That's where you're wrong. I've watched them together for hours now. That dragon loves Dr. Kim. And Dr. Kim loves that dragon. It's not a trick. It's real. The aliens went silent. They looked at each other with what might have been fear or confusion. The water being finally spoke. If what you say is true, this changes everything. But it also makes the situation more dangerous. A dragon that has truly bonded. There is no data on what that means. We must study this. You mean study us like laboratory animals? Hana said. For the safety of the galaxy, yes. Bora growled low in her throat. Through their bond, Hana felt the dragon's rising anger. Bora didn't like these aliens threatening Hana. The temperature in the room started to rise as plasma began to glow between Bora's teeth. Bora, no, Hana said firmly. The dragon stopped immediately. The plasma faded. She pressed against Hana again, though her body was tense and ready. On the screen, the aliens looked even more shocked. It obeyed you, Thelvan said quietly. Without hesitation. This is unprecedented. This is what we've been trying to tell you, Dee said. Humans can bond with other species. We do it all the time. We have animals from Earth that live with us that we care for like family. We can love beings that are completely different from us. That is not love, the tall alien said. That is ownership. Domination by another name. No, Hana said firmly. She knelt down next to Bora and put her arms around the dragon's neck. Bora could leave any time she wants. She can walk through walls, remember? She could phase through this station and fly away, but she stays because she wants to. Because she trusts me. Because we're family. Through their bond, she felt Bora's fierce agreement. The dragon would never leave Hana, not willingly, not ever. The water being moved closer to the screen. Family, you use that word. This creature is not your species. It could destroy your entire planet. Yet you claim it as family. Yes, Hana said simply. There was a long silence. Then something changed in how the aliens looked at them. The fear was still there, but something else too. Maybe curiosity, maybe confusion. We need time to discuss this, Thelvan said. Do not leave the station. Do not attempt to escape. We will speak again in 1 hour. The screen went dark. Hana stood up slowly. That went better than expected, did it? Dee asked. They still want to take Bora, but they're thinking about it. They're confused. That's good. Hana started pacing. They can't understand why a dragon would bond with a human. They don't believe it's real. Can you blame them? Look at the galaxy from their perspective. Every species they know operates on hierarchy and dominance. The strong rule the weak. Resources are hoarded. Even alliances are just temporary arrangements for mutual benefit. Day sat down heavily. Humans are strange because we genuinely care about beings weaker than us. We protect animals that can't offer us anything in return. We adopt alien pets. We cry over creatures that die. Most species think we're crazy for doing that. Are we crazy? Hana asked. Maybe a little. Day smiled sadly. But that craziness might be exactly what the dragons were waiting for. Before Hana could respond, new alarms sounded. The station AI spoke urgently. Warning! Additional ships arriving, reading 57 new vessels of various designs. They are taking up positions around the station. Hana ran to the window. What she saw made her stomach drop. The 5 alien ships from before were still there, but now they were surrounded by dozens more. Ships of every shape and size. Some looked military. Others looked like they were barely holding together. The communication screen lit up without being activated. This time it wasn't just the coordinate assembly. Dozens of alien faces crowded the screen, all talking at once. The translator struggled to keep up. Give us the dragon. The dragon is a threat to all life. We claim the dragon by right of discovery. Humanity has no legal claim. The dragon must be destroyed. The dragon must be protected. Silence. Thelvan's voice cut through the chaos. The coordinate assembly has authority here. All other parties will respect our jurisdiction. We respect nothing, a new voice said. An alien that looked like a pile of sharp metal edges pushed to the front of the screen. We are the Kret Federation. We detected the dragon's signature 12 hours ago. We have been traveling at maximum speed to claim it. By the laws of salvage, it belongs to us. It's not salvage, Hana said loudly. Bora is alive. She's not property. The metal alien laughed. It sounded like knives scraping together. It is a weapon. Weapons belong to those strong enough to claim them, and we are very strong. More arguing broke out. Every species wanted something different. Some wanted Bora killed. Some wanted her captured. Some wanted her for themselves. None of them seemed to care what Hana wanted. Or what Bora wanted. They pulled Hana away from the screen. This is getting out of control. With this many ships here, someone's going to start shooting soon. What do we do? Dee stopped. His eyes went wide. He pointed out the window. More ships were arriving. But these ones were different. These were human ships, military vessels with Earth's flag on their hulls. They arranged themselves between the station and the alien fleet. A new face appeared on the screen. A human woman in an admiral's uniform. This is Admiral Yoonji Kwan of the Earth Defense Fleet. This station is human territory. All alien vessels are ordered to withdraw immediately. The aliens started arguing again, louder this time. Thelvin tried to restore order. The Kret Federation threatened to fire on the human ships. Other species took sides. Within minutes, what had been a tense standoff became a potential war zone, and at the center of it all was Bora. The dragon stood by the window, looking at all the ships. Through their bond, Hana felt Bora's confusion and worry. The dragon didn't understand why so many beings wanted to hurt her or capture her. She only wanted to be with Hana. "This is insane," Hana said quietly. "We're going to start a war over one dragon." "Not just a dragon," Day said. "The dragons represent power, control. Every species out there is afraid or greedy or both. They can't see past what they want to see what actually is." "What do you mean?" Day looked at Bora. "They see a weapon, a threat, a tool to be used or destroyed. They can't see what you see. They can't see a living being that just wants to be loved and safe." Through the window, Hana watched the ships position themselves. Weapons charged, shields activated. At any moment, someone would fire the first shot. And once that happened, nothing would stop the violence. She looked at Bora. The dragon looked back at her with those golden eyes full of trust and love. In that moment, Hana understood something important. The aliens were right about one thing. Dragons were judges. But they weren't judging whether species deserved to live or die. They were judging whether species could love something completely different from themselves, and humanity was being tested right now. That night, while dozens of ships surrounded the station and argued about what to do, Hana couldn't sleep. She lay in her temporary quarters with Bora curled around her. The dragon was now so large that she took up most of the floor space. But Bora always made room for Hana, always kept her warm and safe. Hana felt exhausted. The weight of what was happening pressed on her. Outside, species from across the galaxy threatened each other over Bora. Admiral Kwan wanted to take the dragon into military custody. The aliens wanted to capture or kill her, and Hana had no power to stop any of it. "I'm sorry," she whispered to Bora. "I brought you into this mess. I should have left the egg alone." Through their bond, she felt Bora's disagreement. The dragon wasn't sorry. She was exactly where she wanted to be. Hana closed her eyes, and immediately the dreams came. But these were different from before, stronger, clearer. It was like Bora was deliberately showing her something important. She stood in a place that wasn't really a place. Everything around her shifted and changed, like reality couldn't decide what it wanted to be. The precursors were there, the beings of light, but now Hana could understand them better. She could feel their thoughts as they created the dragons. They weren't building weapons, not really. They were building something much more important. "We are dying," one precursor said, its light flickering weakly. "Our species has become too powerful, too arrogant. We have forgotten how to exist with others. We only know how to dominate. So we create judges," another said, "beings who can evaluate other species, who can determine if they are worthy of continuing." "But how will the judges decide worthiness?" a third asked. The precursors discussed this for a long time. Finally, they agreed. The judges will look for one thing above all others: the ability to love what is different, to care for what cannot offer benefit, to protect what is weak. Any species that can do this has moved beyond domination. They have learned the most important truth. And what is that truth? That all life is connected. That love is stronger than power. That the universe survives through compassion, not through strength. Hana watched as the precursors built the dragons with this purpose in mind. They made them powerful so they could survive anywhere. They made them intelligent so they could judge fairly. And they made them capable of bonding, but only with species who truly understood love. Then the dream shifted. Hana saw what happened next. The precursors finished creating the dragons and sent them out across the galaxy. But the precursors themselves continued to fail the test. They fought wars. They destroyed planets. They treated other species as resources, so the dragons did what they were made to do. They judged their creators and found them unworthy. The precursors destroyed themselves in the final war, and the dragons went to sleep. They spread their eggs across thousands of worlds and waited. Waited for a species that could pass the test their creators had failed. Waited for humans. Hana woke up gasping. She sat up quickly, her heart racing. Bora was awake too, watching her with knowing eyes. It was a test, Hana said out loud. From the very beginning. When I found your egg, when you hatched, when you bonded with me. You were testing me, testing humanity. Through their bond, she felt Bora's confirmation. Yes, this was always a test. What happens if we fail? Hana asked quietly. The answer came through the bond in feelings and images. If humanity failed, if they proved to be like the precursors, only seeking to use Bora as a weapon or to destroy her out of fear, then the dragons would ensure humanity never spread beyond their own solar system. Humans would be contained until they either learned compassion or destroyed themselves. And if we pass? The answer to that question made Hana's breath catch. If humans passed, if they showed they could truly love and protect what was different from themselves, then all the dragon eggs across the galaxy would wake up. Dragons would bond with humans. Together, they would help other species learn the same lesson. The galaxy would change forever. That's why you're showing me this now, Hana said. Because the test is happening right now. Outside the station, Bora made a sound of agreement. Hana stood up and started pacing. But how do we pass? There are dozens of ships out there. The aliens want to take you or kill you. Our own military wants to study you. Everyone sees you as a thing to be used or feared. Nobody sees what you really are except me. Through the bond, Bora sent a feeling of patience. The test wasn't over yet. Humans still had time to choose. Morning came too quickly. Hana went to the control room to find Day already there, looking like he hadn't slept either. Admiral Kwan was on the screen and she didn't look happy. Dr. Kim, the Admiral said, I've been reviewing your research logs. The ones you thought you had hidden. This dragon is far more powerful than we initially believed. It can survive in vacuum, phase through matter, and breathe plasma hot enough to destroy starships. This is exactly the kind of advantage Earth needs. Bora isn't a weapon, Hana said tiredly. Everything is a weapon if you use it correctly, Admiral Kwan replied. The dragon will be transferred to a military research facility within the hour. This is not a request, and if I refuse, then I will have you arrested for interfering with military operations. The Admiral's face softened slightly. Dr. Kim, I understand you formed an attachment to the creature, but you must see the bigger picture. Humanity is weak compared to the other species. We need every advantage to survive. This dragon could protect Earth from threats we can't even imagine yet. Before Hana could respond, alarms blared again. This time it was the alien ships. They were moving closer, weapons charging. Belvan appeared on another screen. Admiral Kwan, if you attempt to take the dragon, we will fire on your ships. The dragon is too dangerous to allow in human control. You have no authority here, Admiral Kwan said coldly. We have 73 species behind us. You have one. Do the mathematics. More alien ships appeared from the edge of the system. Hana felt sick watching them arrive. This was going to turn into a battle. People were going to die, and it was all because nobody could see what Bora really was, except that wasn't quite true. Hana could see it. Day could see it. That meant other humans might too if she could just show them. An idea formed in her mind. It was crazy and dangerous and probably wouldn't work, but it was the only thing she could think of. I need to speak to everyone, Hana said. All the ships. Human and alien. Can you open a channel to everyone? Day looked at her. What are you planning? To show them the truth. Hana took a deep breath. Can you do it? Day's fingers flew over the controls. Done. Everyone can hear you now. Hana stood in front of the camera. Behind her, Bora moved to stand beside her, the dragon's head level with Hana's shoulder. My name is Dr. Hana Kim, she said. I'm the one who found Bora's egg in the ancient ruins. I'm the one she bonded with when she hatched. And I'm the one who's been studying her for the past week. I want to tell you all what I've learned. On the screens, she could see faces watching. Human and alien, angry and curious and afraid. You all think Bora is a weapon, Hana continued. You think she's dangerous. You think she needs to be controlled or destroyed. And you're right that she's powerful. But you're wrong about what she is. She put her hand on Bora's head. The dragon leaned into the touch. Bora is a judge. The precursors created dragons to evaluate other species, to determine if they were worthy of existing in the galaxy. The precursors themselves failed that test because they only understood domination and power. They couldn't understand love. Some of the aliens started arguing, but Hana kept talking. The test isn't about being perfect. It's not about being the strongest or the smartest. It's about one thing. Can you love something that's completely different from you? Can you care for something weaker than you without trying to control it? Can you see another living being as family instead of as a tool or a threat? She looked directly at the camera. Bora could have killed me 100 times. She's powerful enough to destroy this station and every ship around it. But she doesn't. She protects me instead. She trusts me. She loves me. And I love her. Not because she's useful. Not because she makes me powerful. But because she's alive and scared and needs someone to care about her. Admiral Kwan started to say something, but Hana cut her off. I know what you're all thinking. You're thinking I'm naive, that I don't understand the real world, that love is a weakness. But you're wrong. Love is the only thing that matters. It's what makes us better than the precursors. It's what makes us worthy. She took a deep breath. Bora has been showing me the truth. There are dragon eggs all across the galaxy. Thousands of them. If humanity passes this test, they'll all wake up. Dragons will bond with humans, and together we'll help other species learn what we know. But if we fail, if we try to use Bora as a weapon or kill her out of fear, then the dragons will make sure humanity never leaves our solar system. We'll be contained until we either learn or destroy ourselves. Silence fell over all the channels. Every face on every screen was staring at her. Then, to Hana's surprise, it was one of the aliens who spoke first. The water being from the coordinate assembly. You speak of love as if it is simple, it said. But love requires vulnerability. It requires trusting another being with your life. Most species cannot do this. Humans do it all the time, Hana said. We adopt an